Hi, my name is Andrew Moy with TightLinesFlyFishing.com, Tightlines Fly Fishing in Parsippany, New Jersey. I just want to talk a little bit more again about two things. Using the body to create the power in the rod and load the rod into the butt of the rod, as well as managing some running line. So when we're casting here, and we're going to bring this line back into a D-loop, we want to work on using our body, shifting some weight and rotating at the hips. What that's going to do, by rotating at the hips and shifting my weight, I'm going to put the butt of the rod through the stroke longer and first. You want this to go through the stroke first, and you want it to go through the stroke as long as possible. The rotation of the rod should be as slow as possible relative to your body. So in other words, I don't want to pull my hands through the stroke because then the tip races ahead of my body. I want my body to use to create the power by bringing the butt of the rod through the stroke first. So I point the rod, I hold the rod still, and I torque my hips. I use my hips to bring the line back. By doing that, that loads the very butt of the rod. And that makes the rod really load down deep into here. So again, we do this by holding the rod still, shifting weight, and torquing the body. If you notice, I'm not pulling the rod back. I'm not pulling the rod back with my hands or my elbow. I'm not pulling with my elbow. I'm not pulling my hand back. I'm rotating at the hips. The hand, if you notice right here, like my hand right now is not moving. The only reason it's going back is because I'm twisting my hips. I'm torquing my hips, using my upper body. I'm pulling with my back muscles. I'm using this, my back, to bring the rod back. If my hand goes back first ahead of the body, I get in a position where I don't cast well. So again, hold the rod still, shift weight, rotate the body. And I'm keeping my rod on a nice flat plane. So the rod's loaded from 12 o'clock where I'm taking the line from here. Okay, I can only load the rod between where I'm taking the line from and perpendicular to where I'm trying to cast. That's where the rod's loaded, in front. By the time the rod is passing 3 o'clock relative to my target, so if I'm casting 12 o'clock here, 3 o'clock is perpendicular to my target. Once I'm behind 3 o'clock, all I'm doing is the rod tip is following the line and coming up into a firing position. So it'll look like this. Lift, rotate with the hips, hands follow the line so I can cast it. Hips create the power. It's the hips, a short snap of the hips that loads the rod. So there's a little bit of momentum followed by a sharp snap of the hips. That brings and fires the line back. The hands follow the line so I can actually shoot the line. Now in terms of managing line, I strip in a fairly large loop. I grab the line. I let go of everything but my pinky. I continue to strip the line. And I grab it again and I let go of everything but my ring finger. So I'm working up my fingers, pinky, ring finger. Rotate the hips, cast, and I shoot that off my fingers. Now again, I'm going to strip this in. I'm going to create a large loop. I'm going to grab the line. I'm going to let go of everything but my pinky. I'm going to continue to strip. The next loop's going to be a little bit smaller than the first loop. So the first loop's biggest. The second loop is going to be smaller. I grab the line again. I let go of everything but my ring finger. So I'm just working up my fingers. Okay, I'm going to strip. Okay, now I'm where I need to be in order to shoot the line. So I got 2 loops on my hand. I'm just going to hold the rod gently, just cradle the rod. And then the cast, I'm going to shift, rotate the hips. Shift, rotate the hips, cast. I bring the rod around to the firing position. And then from here, the body goes forward first. So to load the rod going forward, again, if I push my hand ahead of the body, I roll the rod tip. If I hold the rod in this position and I use my body, I load the rod here. This is where I want to load the rod, here. See how I rotate my body here, watch? I rotate the body first. When the rod turns over, I focus on stopping the rod, not continuing around. So the body comes forward, the rod tip stops. And that's what shoots a nice tight loop. I'm using the butt of the rod going forward by rotating my body, my hips into that forward stroke. All the hands are really doing is steering that The hands are steering that energy and directing that in a straight line. That's all the hand's doing. If I come off a straight line with my hand, the line's going to cut this way. So I want to just stay on a straight line. And I'm using, again, the body. Hands just follow along for the ride and direct the line. Thank you for watching. I'm Andrew Moy with Tight Lines Fly Fishing.